If we were to look at social responsibility or corporate responsibility with a crystal ball and say, you know, in the next 10 years, where would you see Africa in that space?
Wow, in the next 5 or 10 years, I think one of the things I see in Africa is we'll be able to tell that we knew it all along. This is something we do as our culture in terms of being responsible. It's how do we become whole in whatever we do, in the workplace, in our different marketplace, in our different family spaces, and we will bring onto the table what really matters.
So it's formalizing what we do as Africans, right?
Absolutely. It's just putting it, giving it a name, and being able to say this is really what we know, and almost giving it, validating it, validating the stuff that we know. So I think what we'll have much more, much more discussions on the table. I think we need to be on the global table. Somebody tells me, it's best that you're on the table rather than being on the menu. We will be on the table and then, navigate the direction of where this world is going. And Africa is the frontier. We have a lot of solutions for the world. And so I see us taking a much more bigger role in this sustainability conversation and embedding in the values and goals that we want to achieve.
And also that African organizations want to, don't want their countries to depend on aid, right? No. So I think that's such a big part. Absolutely. Is that we want to have homegrown solutions ourselves, and it's sort of trade, not aid.
No.
And I think I think this part of what you're doing, which is so important, is that you're helping companies to see how they can ensure that money that they make is spent in communities in their country as opposed to dividends just being taken out. I think that is such a big part.
I think that's going to be very clear because nobody ever wants to get to receive aid.
Dependency is never
dependency. We've seen the disaster that it has created because of dependency. We've got to get people back their dignity, and the way to do that is to enable them to take their direction that they want to take. And you're right, I think everybody's now talking about the element of trade and not just aid. That's the only way. When people need jobs, if you ask any young person out there, they want jobs, they don't give them a handout. And so I believe Africa and Kenya will wake up to realize that, collectively together is where we're going to be able to do that. And the solutions, and I'm a very strong believer in trying to look at some of our cultural practices that can enable us then to move forward. I always ask my dad, how did you guys used to manage this situation? And there's so many valuable opportunities right there. My daughter, who Tiasa, is a big...
she's awesome. The elephant girl?
Exactly, the elephant girl. In fact, she's now become an elephant girl. And how do we make our own Kenyan children, African children, know that this is their heritage and not to see wildlife as, for some guys coming flying in as tourists, but own it.
Exactly. And appreciate.
And appreciate it. And actually, when you think about it, Gina, our stories, our African stories are all around animals.
Exactly. It's so true.
Exactly. So how do we, so this is the kind of things, and just really turning things around and saying, these are things we already know. And these are our resources, and we need to protect them for us and also for the bigger agenda. So I think there'll be a lot more conscious and also a lot more people recognizing that they already have the know-how and the way to take this forward. It's going to be exciting. Did you say 10 years? Hopefully I'm still going to be around to see that.
But Rosemary, I'm so glad that I picked you out because you have just impacted so many organizations and you continue to impact. But as you know, our series is called Shaping African Conversations. And what do you think that as Kenyans that we can do to change this narrative of the whole conflict and all the negative stuff that we sometimes see in international media? What do you think that we need to do as Kenyans to change that narrative?
We just need to take the mic and give our story. Let's not let anyone tell our stories. We know our stories.
Exactly.
And we need to put in more floodlight on the ones who are telling our stories. Because if someone tells your story, you've given away your power. So it's really, I think in terms of telling the African stories or conversations is really shifting the power to ourselves.
Exactly, and owning our stories.
Owning our stories.
The good, the bad, and the ugly,
and
right?
And you know what? And there are many good stories.
Oh, there are also
there are many good stories.
Many.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been amazing for me, and I travel, across the continent a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some just incredible African stories, and I'm just so proud to be African and to be able to call Africa home. It's because it really is. We have amazing people.
Yeah, I think one of the things I must say, Gina, is when I went. Sometimes when you go out there, is when you really realize how fortunate you are to be African.
Oh no, absolutely.
And realize, wow, we have solutions for that. We have a solution for this. We have a solution for this. And so have the confidence and that's what's missing in this world. We don't have an African story.
Yeah.
So we need to encourage and assert and let people tell their African stories because they're there. And most of them are very good. Yes, we do have, not everyone has a fantastic story, but even with that, we do learn. So I think, I'm really proud of you that you are providing this platform for us to tell our stories. And, sometimes in vernacular, in a language that is a lot more, palatable to people. But I think it's about time that we tell our story.
Absolutely. Well, I'm really glad that you came, and I just want you to know that I love you so much because you're my girl, and I love it when I look at like my girls, my boys just doing incredible things. I'm super proud.
My name is Rosemary Mutunkei, and you're watching Shaping African Conversation.